Hello gamers, I'm Coach Callie, and today I'll be going over the general information that you need to know to understand how pacing in the game of Rocket League works. Game pacing is very important because to climb in the ranks, you must first understand how to read game flow and manipulate how quickly your team or opponents can move from attack to defense. By the end of this lesson, you should understand the basic rules of game pace, when to speed up, when to slow down, and how to read games. But before we begin gaming, we need to warm up. Do my favorite classic, make sure all the stuff is off of your desk, your monitors at the proper height, and you have water nearby. Ritual. And then I also want you to practice going in free play and making small, light touches, and then eventually making harder, more powerful touches. This will give you a sense of how fast and slow the ball can move. This is really important for later, so make sure you get a good sense of how it does it for now. Now let's do a warm-up of our body by doing the stretch demonstrated by our awesome physical therapist, Jana. Doing this will prepare you for your games in a much better way than simply sitting down to play.
Hi, it's Jana Labari here. I'm a physical therapist with MedStar Health. In this video, I want to show you a series of tendon gliding exercises for the hand that can help improve circulation to the tendons and help to keep them mobile. These exercises can help reduce the risk of overuse injuries such as carpal tunnel syndrome. Do them one after the other and then repeat the whole series 2 to 3 times. First is the hook fist. Starting with a straight hand, keep your wrist neutral and bend just the tips of the fingers to touch the palm. Hold for 3 to 5 seconds and then return to the straight hand position. Next up is the full fist. Starting with the straight hand position, squeeze your hand into a full fist until you can't see your fingernails anymore. Hold for 3 to 5 seconds and then return to the straight hand position. That's it for today's video. I hope you learned something new and it was helpful to you. Let me know in the comments and thank you for watching.
In order to understand game pace, you need to understand first the flow of Rocket League. Just like regular soccer, where the goal is to score before your opponent while successfully defending your net from the opponent's offense, Rocket League is a similar game. Some games are one-sided, while others are closer and take longer for a team to score. The same principle holds in Rocket League, where teams move to score in each other's net before they get scored on. The pace of play is determined by the speed of ball, the speed of the players in the field, and the number of times possession is changed between teams. If a team can control the pace of the game, then they can force their opponent to stretch or match them, or they can quickly change the pace so they become nearly unreadable. The less your opponent knows about your team and strategy, the higher your chances of winning the match. How does possession work? Possession is when a team has control of the ball, whether it's being dribbled, passed, or shot. During this time, the opponent has 3 choices: challenge the ball, play and rotate, or disrupt. Most teams use the time it takes for the attacking team to move the length of the field in order to get positioned to defend their net from the incoming attack. If they feel it is safe, they may send one person to challenge the player with possession of the ball. This is usually done as a method to disrupt a mechanical play, such as an air dribble, ceiling shot, or a flick. Otherwise, they can try to make a direct disruption, such as a bump or demolition on the opposing player, which, when done correctly, will cause a possession changeover. When done wrong, it can leave your opponent in an easy 3v2. To practice taking and maintaining possession, I'd like you to go into free play. Instead of hitting the ball with lots of power off of kickoff, practice lightly tapping it and getting it onto the roof of your car. It's okay if it rolls off, just keep it close to your car as you move it towards the net. Do this about 5 times. Next, try bouncing the ball back and forth between sides of your car as you drive towards the net. Do this 5 times as well. Finally, keep possession of the ball, but instead of scoring on the net you're facing, bring the ball from that net all the way to the net you started in. This is a great way to get used to the idea of the ball not always going the way you want it to go and how to keep possession when you might be under pressure. So when do possession changes occur? Basically, whenever the ball leaves one team's control and enters neutral control, a possession change can occur. This is typically seen when a team attacks, shoots, misses, and retreats to catch an opposing counterattack. It is also seen when a team makes an errant pass or shot, and the ball is caught by an opposing player. Usually this will only happen at high ranks though. When a different team gains control of the ball, they can launch a counterattack of their own from wherever they gain possession from. This is why it's so important to follow rotational structure so you don't leave your team in an accidental 2v3 or 1v3. To practice this, go into rank 3v3. Notice when your team has possession and when the opponent challenges the ball. Keep track of how many times you notice possession changing. While one team has possession, how long does it take until they lose it? Are the teams playing a passing game or are they taking pot shots at the goal until they score? So what can go wrong in this plan? It seems that Rocket League is quite a civilized game. Usually, possession changes are messy. They typically involve a couple of 50-50s. Unless the team is fast enough to catch an errant 50, many players will simply wait until the ball lands near them before beginning to make a play. One of the most common mistakes I see is when players will go to the ball and they shoot, the ball is caught, and they'll bring it along the sidewall. One player will be on the wall with the other player close behind or close to the wall alongside the player with the ball. This is not ideal for many reasons. First off, if you don't have great control of the ball on the wall, you can be challenged, leading to an easy goal if your teammate follows you in the caterpillar formation. Second, if your teammate pushes up midfield or far right field with you to catch a pass, that means that there are now 3 players playing offense, which can again lead to an easy goal. By having 2 players occupying the same area of the field, they are effectively controlling the same space together while leaving a massive gap between them and wherever their teammate is playing. To combat this, if one player has possession of the ball on the wall, the second player should immediately push out to the middle of the field, around 20 meters behind the first player. The third player should then rotate to the back post. This will mean that any challenge that goes midfield will easily be caught and turned into a scoring opportunity by the second man, and the third man will then have enough time to catch any kind of clear or shot that the opponent can generate. When the player on the ball has entered the opposing half, the player in midfield can go to the middle of the field or in another direction, and the third player can push up halfway between their net and midfield. As the play progresses, the players will then assume a normal offensive rotational structure. Keeping a third man in your own half or at most midfield is crucial to a good offensive rotation. It guarantees that if the ball goes back into your half, there will be someone there to either stall for time until the rest of your team can rotate back, or provide an easy clear to a pass to keep the play going. It was a lot to take in that we learned in our lesson today, but it's time to put it to work. For this scrim, hop into a ranked 3v3 game and watch as the players who haven't watched this video double commit on the ball and go for balls that they shouldn't. Practice being that solid third man in rotations who's holding down the backfield, and remember that Rocket League isn't necessarily about who can score the most goals, but it's about who concedes fewer goals. If you feel that you aren't performing to the best of your abilities, just keep playing. Nobody improves by quitting. As you start to do more lessons, you'll understand why players at your rank are actually at your rank. I used to play competitive Overwatch, and during my time, a coach said something to me that stuck. If you're a player, playing with non-knowers becomes very difficult. She is referring to the difference between a true competitive player and a typical ladder player. The same principle applies to Rocket League. The more you know about how the game plays from the inside, the more you'll understand about how to play ranked in a way that will put your team in the best possible position to win games. I'm Coach Kelly, and I look forward to seeing you tune into part 2 of my Pace of Play series.